Hello and welcome to Airs and Spares, your go-to for insight and opinion on two of the most talked about royal couples from both sides of the Atlantic. I'm Kinsey Schofield and I'll be bringing you updates on Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, this time from the East Coast.
Well, I'm in the UK. I've just hot-footed it back from Germany, where I was watching some show jumping, but I couldn't get away from the new royal news. There's been so much of it, particularly centering around the Prince and Princess of Wales, and Harry is interloping as well.
Interloping.
All right, buckle up because this latest royal soap opera is messy even by Sussex standards. We're talking sibling rivalry, PR contradictions, emotional reunions, and another round of Harry's My Truth versus everyone else's reality. So, surprise, surprise, Prince William and Prince Harry are reportedly at an all-time low.
Gosh, so over him. Because of so much Prince Harry news this week, unfortunately, our Prince William news is also related to Prince Harry. So we'll start with a Vanity Fair piece. An old acquaintance of the Duke's said that Harry has high hopes for a long-term reconciliation with his father, King Charles, and is already making plans to bring his wife, Meghan Markle, and their children back to Britain. The source told Katie Nichol it pains him that Archie and Lily don't know their grandfather. One of his biggest regrets is that his grandmother, the Queen, didn't spend more time with his children. He's keen that he doesn't have the same regrets with his father. Their relationship is at an all-time low. This is regarding Harry and William. And Katie says that this source knows both of the brothers well. It's as if something has pushed William even further away from the prospect of a reconciliation. He is adamant that he wants nothing to do with his brother. He is more upset with him than ever. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because you guys won't shut your talking mouths, Rupert.
Well, we're a couple of minutes in, and you've proved you've got a potty mouth, Kinsey. So straight in. I'm even a demure West Coast girl, and then suddenly language, real Anglo-Saxon coming out. Anyway,
48 hours in New York, Rupert, and I'm an entirely different woman.
well, I'll be an entirely different man. I got 10 days in New York, so God knows what I'm going to come out like. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, this is. I mean, I was reading all this Harry stuff this week and his relationship with his dad and all this, going to see him, which is great. Don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But they managed to work it out. 57 minutes, so it wasn't exactly that long. And how quickly did they get beyond the small talk? But what I didn't want to think was that, we'd hear chapter and verse again.
And don't worry, we do because I've got
Yeah.
new details that I haven't even sent you yet that we'll read over here in a second.
I know, shocking, right? At this point, their relationship has more ups and downs than a reality show produced by Netflix. Oh wait, it was. Kinsey Schofield opened her show by joking that she's overrun with Harry headlines. Join the club, Kinsey.
So do you think that when you hear that story from Vanity Fair that it's at an all-time low, instinctually, do you feel like, yeah, it's at an all-time low because Prince Harry can't keep his trap shut?
Well, that's the problem. And that it always has been the problem. And now he's saying, that it's his truth and his truth is the right truth. But we've always said, he doesn't see the big picture. He only sees things from his perspective. And he's got his wife in his ear, sort of drumming home his version of the events. So he never gets to hear and put a separate perspective on it. And then, I that's what I do think it is an all-time low. And obviously there is a reflection in that article saying, that it's not easy and that he's thinking of his dad now. But it all just feels that he's trying too hard. Now,
Do you
what
believe
he did love,
do you believe that his heart is with his father, or do you believe that he recognizes that one of the major reasons that he's being rejected popularity-wise is because of the way he treated the British royal family? So he's trying to look like he's in with them again to elevate himself, to elevate his brand, and to attract new opportunities for himself.
oh, absolutely. This is because obviously the brand of Duke and Duchess of Montecito has had a bit of a hit of late. And so they've got to look and be able to reacquaint themselves with the thing that gives them all the cachet.
Mm.
There's no two ways about it. That is what they need. That's they're uh, you know, that's the oxygen that gives them hope to make money. So without that, they are nothing. It's as simple as that, and him going and saying, opening up the doors again and seeing and doing his quasi royal tour last week. Look, there was some good work done. I'm not, we got to say he gave a lot of money to children in need, Invictus Games, the World Child. You have to just say that's fine. That's what he was doing, and went down well once he could get there because of all the tube strikes and everything going on. Everyone seemed quite happy. Then he shoots off to Ukraine, having seen his dad for just 50 odd minutes, which, I mean, I don't know. When you families get together, the first sort of hour when they do, you do the small talk. It's when you sit round dinner that the sort of, then it all comes
Firework.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, then the family fireworks start. I'm not speaking from experience here, but I would suggest that's what every family does. Oh, hello, lovely to see you, and then it suddenly goes like the other way. But anyway, I would suggest 54 minutes isn't long. They had a cup of tea, off he goes. Then he goes off to Ukraine, which takes some organized with the blessings of the British government.
Are you
Because
sure?
bearing in mind,
Because are you sure that he had the blessings of the British government? Because the Daily Beast
it's
is
a
reporting
foreign. If
he did not.
Well, given the fact that the new foreign secretary was on the trip, it presumably meant that it was sanctioned. They
That's
could have
insane though,
said,
because then that looks like he is representing the
yeah.
UK, and that is an
Well,
that is such
he
an
was he was going on the Invictus Games angle, which, given what's going on in Ukraine, and they are they see the Invictus Games as a wonderful opportunity to help rehabilitate the numerous servicemen and women who've been injured, all Ukrainians who've been injured. So I'm just going to put that aside. And okay, but it did overshadow the new foreign secretary's trip. So how pleased she is with that, I don't know. Has it highlighted and given Invictus Games a boost? Probably has. But
I
it
don't think
is
it has. You know why? Because of this new interview he did. Because it was
okay.
a week of everybody saying this was such a successful trip for Prince Harry. Prince Harry is back. And then he gives this one interview where he takes no accountability. And I think he's exploded everything in taking no accountability. I think that we're talking about Ukraine because we have to talk about a week's worth of activities right now. But I think most people today are talking about that Prince Harry interview.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I looked at it and read it in the Guardian where it came, which isn't always a paper that would be taking the royal, not naturally a supporter of the royal family, and it's a bit puffy, but it's complimentary to him in a way. I'm
Yeah,
sort of
but he's
reading
not a
between.
representative of the royal family anymore,
Yep.
so maybe that's why they're taking his side because he's the royal rebel.
Well, yes, and that would fit the agenda more or less of that particular paper, The Guardian, which is a long established, always been seen as left leaning, more liberal, and that's fine. The place for everything in this world, but when it comes to Harry and his week in this country, were they surprised that they got together, the King and Prince Harry? Well, we surprised rather. I think probably it blindsided us a bit, but I'm delighted they did. But at the time, my immediate thought was, now shut up,
Yeah.
do
Oh,
this, be quiet,
yep.
and go away, and without saying anything. But immediately he's highlighted the issues that yes, it's all about his dad, but it's not about his brother, which accentuates the rift between the two brothers. And unless he's incredibly stupid, okay, he has played it wrong again. And I'm
Yes.
sorry. And he's blaming us again. He's blaming the British press.
So you made the perfect segue into our next topic. Before we get into what he said in that interview, let's talk about what's been leaked about his meeting with his father. Because like you said, you were like, okay, that's fine. Meet your dad. That's good. Everybody should, you know, we want peace everywhere. However, the tap is leaking. Here's what we know according to
She and co-host Robert Jobson dove straight into the latest Vanity Fair piece from royal insider Katie Nicholl. The gist? Harry still hopes to reconcile with King Charles and is even planning to bring Meghan and the kids back to Britain. The source says Harry regrets that Archie and Lilibet didn't get to know the late Queen, and he doesn't want that same regret with his father. Sweet sentiment on paper, right? But according to Nicholl, William's having none of it.
Sources closest to the Sussex talking to Page Six here in the States. Harry was smiling ear to ear after seeing his dad, who he said was doing great. Sources told Page Six Prince Harry was keen to update his dad, King Charles, on his two kids during their long-awaited reunion. Prince Harry was eager to show King Charles pictures. So he came, like the headline is Prince Harry eager to show his kids pictures, and then they talked about how he was packed with video and pictures of Archie and Lily to show King Charles. And according to Us Weekly, and just a friendly reminder that when Meghan Markle and Harry did not like what the Hollywood Reporter said about Meghan, they gave their employees permission to talk to Us Weekly magazine and to try to, dismiss all of the allegations the Hollywood Reporter made about Meghan Markle being difficult to work with and a bully. So Us Weekly has this exclusive that Harry wrote a handwritten letter earlier this year expressing his desire to reconnect with his father. The source says they were not sure it was going to happen until just in the last week. And the outlet claimed on Sunday, calling the meeting super positive and very relaxed. They were catching up personally about the children and what has been going on with Charles and his health. I highly doubt the king was too open with Harry about what's going on with him health-wise because Harry clearly can't keep his freaking mouth shut. They were reportedly, get your gag reflex ready here, hugs and tears. Hugs and tears. And the mood was genuine and positive. The insider added, they shared a long hug when they first saw each other. Harry started crying because he's a you-know-what. Harry started crying, according to Harry's sources, and it was very
Oh,
emotional for both of them. They really missed each other, says the source. It was chosen because it was this where they met, Clarence House. It was chosen because it was an intimate, less formal atmosphere compared to Buckingham Palace. They wanted an intimate setting to ease back into their personal connection without any pressure.
pause, compose, reach for sick bucket, and here we go. I mean, I'm afraid he's where's that come from? The only way that's come from, the king's not going to say that to anybody.
Yeah, Harry cried when he saw me. No.
No, no, I mean that they don't do anything. There's only one way that if there's anything that's come out, it's probably it's they've gone and bleating to someone. They've probably given a version and a version. They've probably embellished it.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure they did hug because that's what when you see your father. Yeah. Well, I don't stiff up a lip. There's some of us of a generation where you didn't have a lot of that around, but don't feel sorry for me. But it's
I
just the
hug
way
you.
it
I
was.
hug you when
It was
I
a
see you.
well, that's not very often, but but the point being, I can't believe that they're telling that kind of information, or somehow someone has written that thinking that that is what going on. I'm sure they got round, they probably met and they might have hugged. Thank you very much. Then they talked. I'm sure he would have shown them pictures. He got his phone out and gone, here we go, look at this, look at Archie, look at Lilibet. This is where they're living, whatever, I'm sure, and then move on. And then that's the 57 minutes. So I think tears, no. Um, I just don't see that as being what happened. Now, of course, we don't know. Of course, it's an element of speculation. But the only one who's probably trying to make it look how emotional it was, it's coming from Harry's side.
Yeah.
And he may be emotional, but he's created the problem for all this emotion. It's his doing. And this is the problem. He doesn't see, he thinks it's all their fault, the royal family's fault. That he's the victim here.
Still.
And I
No.
and he's still playing the victim. And he still wants them to apologize. And he still says it's his own truth. Well, we can pick holes in everything in Spare. We can start with this false wedding they had and Meghan's idea that you have to tell the truth to everybody. Because
Mm.
that's what he said. Wasn't that quote something I
Yeah,
misquote?
well, I have that down below. We'll get to that in a
Yeah, well,
second.
so I'm afraid is that new article you've just found, and because I haven't seen that, and it's just, I mean, I just can't believe it. I'm slightly slurring and staggering for words here because that is tosh.
It's an audacity that like we don't see very often. Somebody so willing to lie to lie to us. My argument is that I feel like this reunion is more for publicity, more for positive press, more to change public perception. And I think that that's why these details are going to a US grocery store tabloid magazine over somebody somewhere
Well,
in the UK. I think that their priority remains impressing the US. Do you feel that way as well?
that's where their commercial market is.
The future king is, quote, adamant he wants nothing to do with his brother. Ouch! So where does that leave us? Harry's reunion with Charles might have been sincere in the moment. Maybe he did show pictures of the kids. Maybe there was a hug. But any genuine progress was immediately undermined by leaks, spin, and, of course, another round of self-serving interviews. William's patience has clearly snapped. Charles will likely remain cautiously polite. And Meghan? She's back to promoting products while the press runs with hugs and tears headlines. The Sussex story keeps looping. Attempt a comeback. Overexpose it. Blame the media. Lose credibility. Start again. And every time, they seem shocked that the public doesn't buy it anymore. If Harry truly wants reconciliation, the solution's simple. Stop talking. Stop leaking. Stop performing your painful applause. The royal family operates on duty and discretion, two words Harry seems to have erased from his vocabulary. Until then, Brand Sussex will remain what it's become, a mix of emotional oversharing, strategic victimhood, and endless contradictions wrapped in glossy PR. And honestly, even the royal commentators are running out of sick buckets.